Jaina versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine!
Knowledge is power.
This month I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too.
So it appears that Bud Light is trying to claw its way back into our good graces after having permanently lost some of their market share after the whole Dylan Mulvaney woke partnership debacle. As it's reported on our very own TheBlaze.com, UFC, the world's premier mixed martial arts organization and part of TKO Group Holdings, together with Anheuser-Busch, today announced a new multi-year marketing partnership. Effective January 1st, 2024, the brewer will become the exclusive official beer partner of USC, a press release states. Now, if you're a fan of UFC, you will know that before this, their official beer was actually Modelo. And I'm not a fan of UFC, nor am I someone who regularly watches it, but even just from being in the room sometimes while my husband has the fights on, even I am familiar with just how many Modelo ads used to run during UFC programming. But it looks like, I guess, Bud Light outbid Modelo in a desperate, very aggressive attempt to win back people. According to Outkick's Bobby Burak, Bud Light is replacing Modelo, which had been UFC's beer partner since 2017, and sources tell Sports Business Journal the deal is in the 9 figures, the largest UFC sponsorship to date. Now that is a crap ton of money for a company to be spending on advertising and sponsorships. But honestly, I understand why Bud Light thinks it's worth it. When people started boycotting Bud Light, one of the beers that started rising to popularity in the wake of Bud Light's decline was specifically Modelo, which to anyone who was paying attention wasn't really a surprise. I mean, think of the demographic that was inclined to boycott Bud Light after the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing. Probably people who lean more to the right, and of course the majority of people who lean to the right are men. And what else do men like? Well, they like the UFC. And if you're a man who's watching UFC and hey, you've just stopped buying this beer you used to buy, chances are you're also simultaneously seeing ads for this different beer, Modelo. Really, I think Modelo's involvement with UFC branding was a big reason why, when the whole Bud Light boycott started happening and their brand started to tank, why Modelo stock simultaneously started rising. And I think the people at Bud Light are also aware of this, and really trying to get in with UFC serves 2 purposes. Not only are they once more advertising specifically to the people, again, like conservative men kind of generally, who were boycotting them, but they're also kind of subverting one of their hugest competitors, Modelo, by kicking them out of their ad sponsorship. And more broadly than that, and this is just kind of my speculation, but considering that the UFC does have a reputation of being the most, I don't want to say conservative or right-leaning sport, because I mean, it's a sport, it shouldn't have political affiliations, but maybe we can say, considering that the UFC is the least overtly woke sport, I think an argument could be made that by Bud Light choosing to sponsor with them, they're almost trying to, in a sense, dog whistle to consumers, hey, we're actually not super woke. You know, we're down with you guys, real middle America. Now we're gonna be going into exactly what the consumer reaction to this partnership has been, but first I do want to say a big thank you to today's sponsor, Liver Health Formula. Are you ready for a health revelation that could change your life? Listen up, in this modern age, it's more important than ever to take care of your liver. It's simple, your liver is a powerhouse with 5 key functions that greatly affect how you look and feel. These include weight management, energy levels, cholesterol, hormone health, and brain health. The problem is though that we are in a silent epidemic. If you were to add up all the residents of South Carolina, Indiana, Massachusetts, Arizona, Virginia, Florida, and Texas, you would still not get the 100 million Americans that have a sluggish fatty liver that makes people gain weight and experience chronic fatigue. Try the product that I recommend, Liver Health Formula. It's an all-natural supplement packed with clinically proven botanicals to help you recharge and protect your liver. By going to my dedicated page, you will also get a free bottle of nano-powered omega-3 that is a total discount of 64%. You won't find this offer anywhere else, so order today at getliverhelp.com/Lauren. Again, that is getliverhelp.com/Lauren. Remember, a healthy liver is a happier you, and hey, if you are interested in this video and talk about beer, odds are maybe you could use a little liver help. So just the other day, the official Bud Light account, which for a while did have its comments turned off,
三菱電機匠心打造的好气场。
让玩乐有力气。
I think we all understand why. They very excitedly posted, "We're proud to announce that starting in 2024, we'll once again be the official beer sponsor of UFC." And now comments were allowed on this post, and it's worth noting that amongst some people who were excited for the partnership, because yeah, they exist, there are also a lot of people, and I would say the majority of people, who are saying that this actually reflects poorly upon the UFC. User Julia said, "Rip UFC." Similarly, Pascal said, "No more UFC." Another user, Biggest Dickus Classy, said, "But aren't you that trans beer?" Darth Dividend on YouTube also wrote, "It will take years to fix your reputation. This won't help." And most damning, someone named Shoulder to the Stone wrote, "I thought this was a joke. I guess the UFC will do anything to grow, but I won't be part of it. UFC 294 was my last pay-per-view buy. What a shame it will bring fans away from the sport. Plus, Modelo is actually a good beer." Yikes, I'm guessing that reaction isn't the one that either Bud Light or the UFC were hoping for. And the criticisms of the UFC for taking this partnership didn't end there. We also have this meme that someone posted along with the caption, "Now that Bud Light is sponsoring UFC, they're proud to announce the first match of the season featuring these 2 fighters, including an image of Dylan Mulvaney and that other questionable individual who is trans and tries to talk to people's kids on the internet." Another, I guess, former UFC fan also weighed in, responding to a photo of Bud Light's logo featured in the UFC Octagon. "Dana White is a complete sellout. What's really upsetting is that he's trying to say this isn't about money. He's hiding behind veterans, first responders, and farmers." And user Matt Allen also tagging Dana White in the UFC, "Thanks to your new sponsorship, hashtag cancel Fight Pass, plus I'm going to save $80 a month on pay-per-view. Know your audience." So is UFC selling out by taking this sponsorship? Well, not according to Dana White. Once more from the Blaze, White was quoted as saying, "I'm proud to announce we are back in business together. There are many reasons why I chose to go with Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light, most importantly because I feel we are very aligned when it comes to our core values and what the UFC stands for. I'm looking forward to all the incredible things we will do in the years ahead." What core values exactly are those? I mean, is making Dana White money a core value of both the UFC and Bud Light? I suppose so. And I guess on that note, they would be aligned. But outside of that, it seems questionable what these 2 companies, these 2 organizations would share. Ultimately, though, you know, I am not someone who has ever drank Bud Light. I don't like beer, so there was really never an opportunity for me to boycott it. And I'm also someone, like I mentioned, who is not really a fan of UFC. I don't watch it. But I would love to hear from you folks who are in a different position, who perhaps were at one time Bud Light drinkers but are no longer, or who are fans of UFC programs. Is the fact that Bud Light is potentially spending upwards of $100 million sponsoring with UFC change your opinion of either Bud Light or UFC? Because personally, and